Hey y'all, hey y'all! It is Friday. You excited? No, it's not. It's Friday Eve. That's what I meant to say. It was Friday Eve. I've already got that weekend state of mind, if you will. Sorry, we've got a surprise that's going to be happening, an international surprise, if you will, a little bit later in the show, and they sent me things that I need to be able to help the storytelling a little bit. But they sent it to the wrong phone, so now I'm trying to get it all transferred over where it's supposed to be, like right now. I know I gave away the surprise. What? What's the surprise? What did I give away? I didn't give away anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh gosh, Alex, you look like a creeper. You just popped around the corner there. Anyway, it is. I have lots of surprise today, Simon. Today is the day of surprises. First one, okay, so literally today is the day of surprises. I haven't even had a chance to post this on Facebook yet. And if you know me well, like I'm usually pretty quick to post things on Facebook. I am getting better though. Like I think I'm starting to be a little bit more exclusive, if you will. Well, anyway, I came home from dropping off the littles. I'm gonna show you this picture. No, you probably can't see it. There's a cat on one side and a little nut hair on the other side that kind of blends into the road, if you will. And I saw it and I was like, oh, that little thing, it's going to run away as soon as I drive over there. And it didn't run away. Well, that's weird. So I got out of my car. And so the cat that you saw is kind of like the neighborhood cat. One of our neighbors went and got it spayed and gets its shots and all that kind of stuff. And so she's just a little sweetheart, right? We call her Sasha. She's like the neighborhood cat. Well, really just our streets cat. And so she's kind of walking around and she's being more lovey-dovey than usual. And I was like, I know you're up to something. I know you're up to something. And so then I start walking over there and thinking that this little bunny rabbit's going to run away. No, it didn't. It let me start petting it. You see that? You see this? It let me start loving on it. And I was like, I should probably just walk away, but I can't. I cannot just walk away from such a situation. So I started looking her over. I say her, I don't really know. I started looking it over and it looked like I had a boo-boo on its little hind quarter. So I told Austin to go get a blanket, like a little towel, and we'll see if she needs some TLC. So I brought her inside. I take Austin to school. Well, hold on. I brought her inside. Now, as you know, we have quite the farm here with the dog and the cats, and the dog has a history. So you can't leave little things around, right? Until they are well adjusted. So Alex is protecting this little bunny until I get back. It hadn't really drank anything. It didn't eat anything. I am in fact addicted to vermin. And then, I came and I sat with it for a couple minutes when I came back, and I just kind of rubbed its little nose and tried to, put a little bit of water on its little nose, right there, because that'll usually get them to start drinking. Well, it didn't get her to start drinking. I say her, I don't know. And I loosened at the blanket a little bit, but bunnies like to burrow. So that's why the blanket, and of course, you just never know. So anyway, it finally kind of started like waking up a little bit, I guess. And it decided to jump down off of our table. Now we don't have like a hip high table. Like we have one of the countertop tables. So she jumps off of this table. And again, I don't know if it's he or she. And I said, ah! And so he comes right in and we shut all the bedroom doors because you just don't know, right? And it went straight to the front door. So we opened the front door and it couldn't figure out how to get out of the front door. So we were able to catch her. We opened up the door again. And she pretty much jumped right out of Alex's arms and then into the yard and kind of like looked back and then jumped its little happy way off. So my morning was definitely not prepared for a little bunny. Now, what's kind of funny, so I sent the text in the group text message of those pictures that I sent with Manny and the big boys. And Manny calls me when I'm on my way back from dropping off Austin, and he's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not with you." And he's like, "You know damn good well what I'm asking you about." And I was like, "Well, okay, look, I'm not going to keep it." And he's like, "I don't believe you." And I'm like, "Fair. I have a reputation. I have a history. That's a fair assessment." Walter also did not believe that I was not going to keep it. But anyway, so then when it left, Manny sent a text message, and this was classic because he's not wrong. Do y'all know that little movie Hop? like you see the Easter time. It's about the Easter bunny, and the bunny's name is EB. EB. So all I'm saying is, if our Easter baskets are a little fuller, we'll know if it was EB or not. That's all I'm gonna say. I know how you tell the difference between a girl bunny and a boy bunny, but the problem, mother, is that she, he was, I honestly didn't think it was going to make it through the day if he stayed anyway, because she wasn't drinking. It was panting really heavy when we found it in the middle of the road. But and like it had, so it and also, like, listen, like, I understand how wild animals work. Like, I'm not Snow White or anything, so I get it. But he had like 4 ticks like embedded in his ear, and he let me pull them out without even without like any reservations in the road. And so I was like, I wonder if little bunny Foo Foo's gonna make it. So I don't know if little bunny Foo Foo's gonna make it or not, but I did my part, and I feel good about myself, and so does Alex. Alex. That's what I thought. So anyway, he really did leave, Simon. He really is gone. We've checked a couple times out in the front yard to see if it came back. It has not come back. It really left, didn't it, Alex? No, like, I mean, like, it's no longer in the house. See, it's not in the house. Alex would dime me out. Shut up. Alex would dime me out in a second. But anyway, so that's how our morning started, completely unplanned. And then I thought of all of the jokes that I could make on the show about it, given what's happening well, we're picking on Ohio, but it's not just happening in Ohio. But with the cats, have you seen all these cat memes? The internet is exploding with them. They're all great. I hope you've seen them. Now here's what's really funny. So this morning, while I was getting ready to get ready, my sister posted one of the cat memes, and I responded to it. And my response was, my cats will be voting for Trump, and it refused to let that post go up. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? I couldn't help but get a good chuckle out of that. I don't know what comment just went up. I don't know why it wouldn't post that. People are posting all over social media that they're posting, or that they're voting for Trump. I don't know. It wasn't flagging it as false propaganda. It wasn't even saying anything. And I would hold it down to try and get it to repopulate or whatever, or like try to make it go back through, and it wasn't going through. So I was just like, all right, I see your game here. I see your game. It's because it doesn't like my false propaganda about my cats voting for Trump. It's not false propaganda. If my cats vote, they will in fact be voting for Trump. It's false because the kitten's still a minor. The kitten is in fact still a minor, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this was the meme that I was responding to, that my sister posted, and it was hysterical. I thought it was hysterical. Look at this. I'm sure you've seen this meme though. Is that not the greatest thing? Now, what's funny about this little side one right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. I texted my girlfriend. She and I were texting back and forth about it, and I actually said, hide your wives, hide your children, hide your cats, because they be eating everybody up in here. So that's funny that they made that a meme, because that was almost immediately. This is a good one. Cats and it's killing me also. I don't see the one that her father-in-law posted. Let me see if that one pops up, because that one was possibly my favorite of all of them so far. It's perfect. It really is just perfect. Where is it? More comments. Oh, I see. This is on the original post. Okay. Well, here it is. But anyway, I thought it was funny. These memes are hysterical. If you haven't been seeing them, you really just have to try and you'll find them. Now, what's real fun is, as you guys know, we have Naughty Paws. Where's the baby? The kitten.
I really
Bring me the
don't-
kitten.
it's back in my feelings.
We have a new little victim, if you will,
Damn.
of Ohio. And I think it just came through Simon. We have a new victim from Ohio. He's not a victim. We're hiding him. We're running a cat refuge. Here's the thing. Why isn't PETA all over this? My favorite though was when they why isn't this opening? There we go. My favorite, oh my gosh, I saw a video like this one, Simon.
Yeah, you are.
We have to
Something
protect
like
we have to protect the babies. We have to protect the little babies. Look at this little love.
Yeah,
This is the baby we have to protect. This is Gumball. He's like 5 weeks old. He is not having it. He's funny though. Y'all will get to know him, I'm certain, on the show. But here's Simon's video that he just sent. Share screen. I saw this as a video where Trump was holding cats as he was running from Haitians. You know, it's funny, but it's not funny, and here's why. Number one, ew. Number two, let's talk about this for a second. There were videos all over the place of these different people groups. Let's keep it PC. Of these different people groups grilling rats in New York City. And listen, look, I've been in other countries. I'm not an extended traveler, okay? But I can tell you this: we went to Japan. We had an overnight stay in Japan. This is a true story. It was right after we got married. We were on our way to Guam, and I ordered food. Now, of course, the menu was a little bit hard to read, and everything I tried to order, they said they were out of. So finally, I settled for like beef broccoli or something like that, right? No big deal. They were out of literally everything. I get the food and I start eating it, and I'm like, this is not USDA approved meat. Like, I don't know what this is. But I might be eating a dog. Now, I could never confirm or deny that I was eating a dog, but it was not a cow. I do know that. This is not a cow that goes moo. So we know in other countries that they do in fact eat whatever they find. It doesn't matter if it's a dog. It doesn't matter if it's a cat. It doesn't matter if it's a little bunny rabbit. It doesn't matter if it's the rats in New York City. These people will eat whatever meat they find, especially if they don't have to pay for it. I'm not okay with this, just so we're all clear on this. And now here's the real question. Where the hell is PETA? Where is PETA in all of this? Mother, you're in Norfolk, or please close by it. Can you please go knock on the door? Mom, please stage oh my gosh, this is glorious. You and Eileen go and stage a protest outside of PETA and ask them to defend the cats in Ohio. This is what, Mother, this is your live task. You and my sister go. Do not delay. Go right now. Just stop watching the show. I'll send you the link when you get there. You and Eileen go to PETA and you stage a protest about what's happening with cats in Ohio. I am super serious. Look, y'all can help fund this venture. Go to TexasFullyLoaded.com, click on the hashtag We the People Work. I will go and stage a protest outside of the PETA headquarters and ask and demand action on the rats in New York City and the cats in Ohio and wherever else animals are being eaten that are not supposed to be eaten in the United States. Because I'm 100% certain that I cannot walk into any normal butcher or grocery store and find cat or dog on the listed meats that have been butchered. I was going to make a joke about me saving the bunny from the Haitians, but the reality is I'd be saving the bunny from the rednecks. It's not the same. That's what I'm talking about. Chelsea Garcia posted, remember 2 men from Honduras tried to eat an eagle? Look, these people aren't playing games. They are going to eat your animal. They're going to eat your animals and they don't even care. You know, the memes, like all the talk, if you believe any of these morons that with all the prepper guys, they're like, you have to be prepared to eat even your family pet. And everyone was like, no. Well, now you got to worry about your neighbor eating your family pet. It is not okay. I'm not okay with what is going on with these poor little animals. Now, the funny part is that Trump like goes into detail about it. Now, look, I get it. Like Kamala was being ridiculous. No surprise. But my favorite part was when she tried to act shocked by it. And it made me question several things about her. Like we know that her dad is not originally from the United States, nor is her mother. So was she shocked that people would be upset about this? What was on Kamala's kitchen table growing up? I don't have the answer. I don't. Now, here's the other side, though, for all you animal lovers, such as myself, but specifically for you animal lovers who are denying a border crisis or that these people are going to cause us harm or fill in the blank. Where's your outrage? This is not going to stop. This is only going to increase, just as an FYI. When you let people come into a nation or into a land and we don't hold them accountable for any rules, they will do whatever they want to do because they know there's not going to be any repercussions from it. They will literally just do whatever they want to do because they can. So if you don't think for 1 second that this is the end, you have lost your mind. When are we going to start finding? Remember all those episodes about the cannibals? What makes you think they're not already here? And we already know there's some weirdos like Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, now I sound like President Trump talking about Hannibal Lecter in the speech. But that's real. These are valid concerns. Now, is it the first line of valid concerns that I would have thought of? Not in a million years would that have been the first concern that I would have thought of. But here's the real thing. At this point, we'll use whatever we need to open up the eyes of the people who are denying this stuff. And people will deny about them causing extra problems in the school because they don't see it firsthand. People will deny them bringing in extra viruses because they don't see it firsthand. People will deny until it happens to them. So if Fido goes missing and Mr. Whiskers goes missing, you can thank your local illegal migrant. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And here's the thing. Here's the other side of this. So if this was a teenage boy who grew up in Springfield, Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio, the cops would be all over him. He'd be on a terrorist watch list and everything would be weird. Everything would be on high alert. Oh, we can't put it on high alert though because these are illegals. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And as an avid animal lover, I'm not okay. I really think that PETA should be doing something because they can't deny it. These are the same people. Let me explain. I've got some history indirectly with PETA. PETA is from my original hometown. But we used to, I remember they were PETA, because they're crazy, was going to go and start throwing rocks into the bay so that people wouldn't fish. Remember this? My mother's going to chime in that she remembers this. That they were going to start throwing rocks in the bay or the river or something like that to make it so that the fishers can't catch fish. Fish. To which I told my granddaddy, let's go to where they're going to be doing it. And you can be out there fishing. And I'll lay down in the boat and I'll be like, because these people are dumb enough to think, oh, well, we have to protect them. We have to protect the fish from being eaten. So I thought it was a great idea. You have to fight fire with fire sometimes. And if people want to be dumb, let's be dumb with them. And then we can fix things. So don your MAGA hat and your Save the Cat shirt. Now, this is going to get bad because I now hear Walter cackling in the back of my head with your Save the Cat shirt. Don't say it, Walter. I know you're listening. I know you've got some little in the back of your head that's like, I feel like there's a moment that I can come and crash this. Don't do it. Find it, Walter West. I believe in you. So yeah, so there was that. I know that this conversation will get brought back up just as an FYI, because I'm certain Walter has got plenty to say on it. Now there was one that he sent me yesterday, and I did have it pulled up, but I did not play it because I wanted to be serious yesterday for 9/11. So all right, here's what he sent me yesterday. If you've already seen it, shut up. Enjoy it anyway.
Guys, none of this animal goes to waste.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. America is a nation of immigrants. That's true. You can probably trace your lineage back.
Anyway, we're not going to watch the whole show, but I thought that opener was hysterical. So yeah, so that was going on. You know, the whole debate, and I shared this on my Standard for Texas page. So I'm gonna pull this up for you guys really quick. This was on a for Texas page. Here we are. This was on my reels this morning, and I loved every second of it, and I hope that you do too. And I want to preface this before I start this. I need you to know that Kamala has said multiple times since she's started running for president that her values have not changed. She's not lying to you about that at all. Her values have not changed. Okay? That's not what she's lying about. What she's lying about is what is coming out of her mouth now. Now, the media has tried to be like, well, if your values haven't changed, then why are you saying you're for this or you're not for that? And blah, blah. And they kind of have been making the big emphasis on fracking, which I appreciate as an oil and gas workers lover. But let's see another tall tale from Kamala Harris. Are you ready?
Anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. I do believe that we need to do buybacks. I support buybacks.
How mandatory is your gun buyback program?
It's mandatory. We want to ban assault weapons. We need an assault weapons ban. We need reasonable gun safety laws in this country, starting with universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapon ban. I'm also in favor of the assault weapons ban, of universal background checks, red flag laws. Congress needs to have the courage to act and renew the assault weapons ban. So it's clear that we must renew the assault weapons ban. Let's have an assault weapons ban. We need an assault weapons ban. Demanding, as we all do, red flag laws, universal background checks, and a renewal of the assault weapons ban. We're saying we need reasonable gun safety laws, including universal background checks. And to your point, Chris, a renewal of the assault weapons ban. It's just the right thing to do. But we still need an assault weapons ban. And yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously. And decisions is my values have not changed. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Changed, y'all. So stop using her own words against her. Her value. Look, she's not lying. Her values have not changed one bit. Her values have not changed one bit. She will absolutely, at the first opportunity, take away your guns. Let me say it one more time. Her values have not changed. She will take away your guns. She is lying for the next 6 weeks. One more time, just for clarity. She will be lying her ass off for the next 6 weeks because she needs those swing votes. And she got to finish bringing over Republicans who don't like Donald Trump, but love their guns. I said it when Tim Walz came out as her running mate, and we started singing about how he's an avid hunter and all that fun video that they did of Tim Walz for his walkout video. He looked like just some down-home redneck, just like me and you. He goes, huh? He was making fun of his daughter who wanted to be a vegetarian. The whole entire thing. Just like me and you, right? That's a great swing over conversation. Because believe it or not, just like we have one issue voters about abortion, we have one issue voters about gun control. And let me remind you that these one issue voters on abortion are not swinging our direction. Let me say it one more time. Those one issue voters on abortion are not necessarily swinging our direction. The number of people that I have encountered in the last decade, but I'll keep it relevant, in the last 5 years, that have said, I agree. Look at this handsome boy. I agree with everything that you're saying, but I believe in a woman's right to choose, so I can't vote with you guys. And my response has always been and will always be, I'm sorry that you're okay with this, but we have more issues. Abortion should not be being dealt with on a federal level. And that was another thing. I actually, y'all know when I get mad, I write notes. I wrote notes watching this thing the other night. Trump is, here's another conversation to take. Now, this doesn't matter if you are a hard pro-lifer or not. This is for those swing people. Trump personally is okay with abortion if the life of the mother is in jeopardy in the cases of incest and rape. Okay? So all you people who are trying to shove words into his mouth, like Kamala was, that wasn't who he was, number one. Number two, this is the biggest take home. He sent it back down to the states. Now, I know what you're saying, Sandra. He wasn't in the White House when it happened. That's right. But he placed them judges that made sure it got sent back down to the states. That is a very important thing. This is why the judges' races that we're looking at coming into this election in 6 weeks are so important. You have to vote Republican judges, because these judges are the final say on what's going on. The judges can disrupt even local things that have been put into place if they are not legal. Judges are important. They are very important, and they're very vital to the health of our country and of our state and of our localities. So pay attention to those judges' races. As we say, Renee Jansa started this with me. She's like, make sure people vote all the way down the ballot. Don't just start and stop with Donald Trump. You got to go all the way down. You have to go all the way down. Say their name as you're going all the way down. I'm currently working on a worksheet for an SD. And I'm literally, as I'm typing in every name, I'm saying their name. As I'm typing in every name, I'm saying their name. And let me tell you what, it's exhausting. At midnight, Walter's like, hey, shut up and go to sleep. I was like, I'm trying to get this done. I only have 3 more counties. Just let me finish. And he's like, shut up and go to sleep. You got a show tomorrow. Look at and look, let me show you, honey child. Here we are. If you go to the Texas Secretary of State website, you can now see all of the names on a ballot. This one's for Uvalde County. But now you can see every single name that is going to be on your county ballot, with the exception of cities or the nonpartisan races. So you can start looking and saying, okay, what judges do I need to look at? What attorneys do I need to look at? What does this court do? This court does appeals. This court is a judicial district. This court is the criminal appeals. There's a difference between appeals and criminal appeals. This judge does, this is a Supreme Court justice. This does something different than the other Supreme Court justices do. It's simple stuff that you can find the answers for. All you got to do is spend 5 minutes on your idiot box. It's not watching a cat video. Says the queen of the cat videos. If I can do it, so can you. I have no superpowers. I have no extreme knowledge. I'm just smart enough to care for 8 seconds. I'm just smart enough to care for 8 seconds. That's all you got to do. Trump made the statement that he sent abortion back to the states where it belongs, and it does every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. Now, if you want the real conversation, the abortion conversation will never go away as long as the federal government is in charge of your health care. And as long as you have breath in your body, the federal government is in charge of your health care. Even if you have private insurance, the federal government is in charge of your health care. You want to get the government out of your business? Then let's defund the government paying for everything. It's that simple. And I know what you're saying, but Sandra, I don't take government handouts. I have private insurance. I pay for that every month, and I have to pay a copayment, and I have to pay this, and I have to pay that. You're right. But you know what Congress has done? They've allowed the federal overseers to play Big Brother with the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies and all of these different companies. I got one of the bills from my eye surgery. I got one of the bills from my eye surgery the other day. My part of that bill was $63. Oh, okay, no big deal. No big deal. You want to know how much my insurance paid for one part of the procedure? Over $1,300. Do you know why they can do that? Because we let them run rampant. We make sure, Congress makes sure that big pharmaceuticals, that all the different branches of medicine is donating to all these different little, backdoor companies or even directly to politicians. And honey, they got to get that money from somewhere so they can give them. So every time you get a medical bill in, whether you have private insurance, whether you have government funded health insurance, it doesn't matter. Even if you pay cash, make sure that you write your congressman a letter and tell them thank you for taking money from Big Pharma. Because that's the only way. Every single politician can say, oh, I sat with Miss Sally Sue and she showed me how much her insulin used to be. And now we've made it so it's only $35 a bottle. Well, good for you. You should have done that 50 years ago. Better yet, you should have never gotten involved because people could afford to be sick before the government got involved. Do I sound crazy? Good. I hope so. Because here's the deal. When people make jokes and memes and all that other nonsense about it, they still have to say it out loud. They still have to think about it. And whether they just think that you're crazy, if they're logical, they're like, there's some level of truth on that. I can tell you the number of times I've seen one of these leftist memes. I'm like, well, they're not completely wrong. As you should, because we have a lot of crap bag Republicans. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to be back in 2 minutes. Grab your friends, reheat your pumpkin spice latte. We'll be right back. are back with a huge, huge thank you to our amazing you. We need you. You help us. You help fuel us. You give us reason to exist. So please go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on hashtag We the People Work. You can also go to PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, all at Texas Fully Loaded. Now, I'm excited. You guys know that we have coffee cups. I have some t-shirts still left and some koozies and things like that. You need to contact us directly. We'll get them to you. You just need to call us. We'd love to make that dream a reality of you having Texas Fully Loaded gear. But I've been dabbling a little bit, and I think some people have kind of thought that this was going to be coming. I'm opening a bakery and cafe. It's not set in stone just yet, all of the particulars. But this dream needs to become a reality. It's something that I'm really passionate about. It's something I've been pouring a lot of prayer and some sweat equity into, and all of those things. Yes, for $5 a day, you can in fact save a cat, and we're going to talk more about that in just a second. But my baking dream is coming into a real thing. It's manifesting a little bit. So here's what I need from you. Now, all of my baked goods, are completely organic. They're also adjustable to accommodate allergens. Last night I made this amazing this is the greatest ever. Now, I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect, but I need your support in this. I made this amazing pumpkin spice cheesecake with a gluten and allergen friendly crust that you cannot tell the difference in. It's absolutely fantastic. This is my new work of passion. You can buy it by the slice. You can also buy it by the pie, if you will. But this is the next step for me. I've always said if I never got involved in politics, I wanted to have a bakery, and now it's time to combine both of my loves, for cooking and doing all the things. I'm also going to be offering catering opportunities for sit down dinners or things along those lines. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in, because that's the next step, Sandra, for Texas is cooking. That's what I'm good at. I'm passionate about it, and I have a real gift for being able to take things that should taste like crap, because you take all the good stuff out, right? And making it taste like heaven on your tongue. You guys know I'm passionate about food and about the quality of food that goes into it. And I made this cheesecake last night, this pumpkin cheesecake. And I'm looking at it, right? And I thought, you know what? I wonder how much a pumpkin cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory would cost, with all the crap in it, right? They don't use anything that is it's just regular food. It's not organic. It's not allergen friendly. It's none of those things. And I'm comparable, 100% comparable. So contact me. I would love to. Thank you. So I only had one bite of it because it was really late at night. But Alexander had a slice of it, and it was absolute heaven. I mean, just the best. The funny part about it was, I said that, everyone says the hardest part about making a cheesecake is making sure it doesn't crack. Well, it's all about being patient. And so I all the way through, like, it was perfect. It was like the perfect cheesecake. It was like, oh. So then Arthur comes home from school, and they're smelling it, right? And of course the oven's cracked, and I'm like, just stay away from it, just stay away from it, blah, blah. So then fast forward a little bit later into the day, and I said, hey, Arthur, do you want to come and smell this cheesecake? It smells amazing. And he's like, yes, I do. And so he comes over and he looks at it and he goes, oh, Mom, that smells fantastic. And then he goes right into the cheesecake. And I was like, what did you do? And he's like, what did you touch? It looks so cool. And I was like, oh. So he put his finger right into the cheesecake, and we all got a big kick out of it. And so when I was cutting Alexander's slice of cheesecake last night, I cut him the slice that had the hole in it, and he's like, Mom, why did you give me that broken piece? I don't know if you can, if you look really close, you can see the fingerprint in the cheesecake. Bam, right there. I promise that Arthur will not put his finger into the cheesecake I make for you, just as an FYI. Okay. Now, before I bring on the other hostess with the mostest, he sent me a video while we were on the air, and I didn't see it until we went on commercial break, and said, hey, make sure you play this. So without further ado, hold on.
Since 1916, Earhead, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their guns. Earhead, it's the same old theme since 1916.
Sorry. That is the greatest video I've ever seen in my life. Thank you.
That's the 9 Lives Infantry Division. They're the 9 LID.
That was my big look. Kitty got motivated because he was not up here, and he's like, "Wait a minute, that's my people."
That's right.
My people.
Kitty got back. They got you back, Kitty.
Not your back, Kitty. So you too can grow up in a furry safe place. So what do you got going on, pal?
Just just content creating. I was in another dadgum long conference call. You got to love these people that work in an office all day, and they're watching, by the way. But you got to love them that work in an office all day and don't realize that half of us get to work about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and get our day started. So when they're like, "Hey, we'll move it an hour earlier for you," and I'm like, and yet y'all still talk like we're having dinner.
Simon said, "You magnificent bastard! You broke Sandra."
Yep. Sandra, I wanted to say bless you because when you sneezed and everything, and you got to watch when you're sneezing on air. And hey, you got one hanging right there.
Shut up! There's nothing hanging. So last night, as you know, Walter, I felt like this. I feel like someone has a voodoo doll, and they're specifically targeting one sinus nerve. Like that's the first time I've sneezed, period, or coughed or anything. Was just right now. So I don't think it's going to turn anything. I'm in sinus pain, and I hope it doesn't turn into anything. So everyone say a little prayer. And if you have my voodoo doll, stop it.
It's probably your favorite witch.
She wouldn't target my sinuses. That's mean.
Yeah. She'd probably take her broom and target that big old. Anyway, so what else is happening today?
You better be sweet. So today I was talking about the debates. We went pretty heavy on kitty safety. I said, put on your MAGA hat and your Save the Kitties shirt. And then I was like, oh no, this is not going to end well with Walter. So I'll give you your moment to do what you need to do.
Just came up with a new T-shirt.
Certain. But I know what it's going to say. Anyway, I was showing everybody about how I had notes here. And, one of the things that Trump specifically said, I was talking about abortion right before we went to commercial break, was that, essentially Trump was saying that Kamala is trying to do with abortions what they did with student loans, and they're going to make all these promises that they can't keep. And I appreciated that. It was just more proof that she's a liar and her values haven't changed. And, I made the statement before we got on the abortion conversation. I played this NRA video that they put out. And here's the deal is her values have not changed. She's lying to you now. her values have not changed. She says that very clearly, and she looks into the camera every single time. My values have not changed. That is her letting her followers know, I'm still going to ban, try and do the gun grabs. I'm still going to allow you to murder babies in the womb that are viable. I'm still going to allow all of those far Marxist socialist policies that I've always allowed and been fighting for. Those are not going anywhere. What?
So, remember whenever on Twitter it went out, it's from the early 2000s when Donald Trump made the statement, you got to grab him by the, you know what?
Yeah.
So Kamala Harris said, hold my beer, watch this. And Haitians are now eating them. It's the Harris Haitian invasion.
Well, here was the deal. Hillary knew
Don't
she
worry-
couldn't run again
don't-
because people thought,
Don't worry about hide your kids, hide your wives. It's hide your dogs and the things with 9 lives.
yes, Simon, Trump was in fact talking about cats.
Before we ever knew. I
You know,
cannot believe the Democrats, and it took somebody by the name of Billy Bush to be the one to put that out there.
you know what, Simon, President Trump also has a jellyfish of the fortune, of fortune. That's all I'm going to say. We made it public here on Texas Fully Loaded, but he's got one. He was just trying to protect kitty cats long before anyone knew. He knew. Hashtag Trump knew. Hashtag Trump knew. Okay, so here was one of my favorite lines from the debate that was a joke. Trump, it was on the economy, and Trump was talking about how Kamala doesn't have a plan, and what she does have was terribly taken, and it was just as bad as a child trying to learn how to read. Her economy plan is run, spot, run. And I laughed far too hard at that. Maybe it's because I just got done teaching Arthur how to read. Now we're coming into teaching Charlotte how to read. And I was just like,
Oh,
this is
no.
fantastic.
Now there's 2 of them. Great.
I'm a very patient person when it comes to teaching children how to read. Ask Alex. He doesn't have PTSD at all.
They never learned to read.
Let's see. What was some of my other favorite moments from tonight? From the other night, was when he said that he was going to give Kamala a MAGA hat to wear at her rallies that nobody shows up at. That one was pretty good. Oh, let's talk a little bit about the border. This one's going to be fun. This one's going to be a little bit fun. And Kamala loves to talk about this bill that they had that Trump killed so that he could just do it when he got back into office. And about how they were going to put more border agents more agents on the border. That's what she said. We're going to put more agents on the border. That's what that bill was designed to do. But here's the problem with their little fun bill and putting more agents on the border, as they love to say. We don't have all of the slots filled right now. So where are they going to find all of these extra agents that they're going to put on the border when they haven't even filled all of their positions yet?
Well, and don't just ask that question, but then you got to ask the even larger question. Wouldn't you want to have a president that has the ear of Congress? Because she's basically saying she was ineffective as the president of the Senate to be able to get the Senate to work with Congress in moving it. And specifically, what was even in that bill? Why didn't the Republicans push that? Probably because it was a bill that protected Haitians in Springfield, Ohio.
Right. Well, one of the things that I had talked about before you got on the air was, we're going to, I hate to be an opportunist, but why not? Let's use this momentum of the horrific nature of what's happening to these animals in Ohio and in New York and everywhere else that it's happening, because this isn't brand new. And let's start reaching these people who are these one-term voters, or one-issue voters, and there's one-issue voters who care about animals. And the fact that the administration that loves them the most is denying that anything's happening.
Well,
Reach across the ground.
keep this in mind. The Attorney General of Ohio has come out in support of what was said by President Trump, that there is a problem. The city manager may not have stated that, because the city manager is the one who's benefiting from it. They have the Haitians are working for private people. They're being paid by those people. They're not in the normal job market. And then on top of that, apartments and homes that were like $600 to $800 a month, those people are getting kicked out. And now you're seeing more and more people that are being charged, that more and more of those landlords are charging $250 a bed. And so they're stacking 10 beds and sometimes 10 beds to a room, much less, 10 beds in a house. And they're making 4 times what they were making before.
Right. Now, Walter, I'm going to have to probably interrupt you in just a second, because it looks like we have our roaming reporter is going to be joining us a little bit ahead of schedule, which is perfect. We're kind of on his schedule because of where he's roaming from. So as soon as he
when in Rome, wear the brass skirts like they do.
I spoke to our roaming reporter yesterday, and I asked him how Fiji was, and he said it was very, very, very explosive. Very explosive. Are you ready?
Kind of like that lady in Walmart.
Hello.
Hello. 1 second. Trying to get my.
Look here. You told me when you came on to pull you up, and so I did.
I know. Then I opened it. I heard Walter through my phone. I'm like, that's not right. All right. So I'm here at the Maidan in Kyiv, Ukraine. This is the site of the 2014 revolution against their president then, Viktor Yushchenko, I think is the name. Basically, they were overthrowing a pro-Russian government. I sent you a photo there of the Maidan during the revolution. If you could pull that up, I'm going to show you guys the building that's in that photo.
Well, we're trying. It hasn't loaded on the computer yet, so I'm gonna do the thing that Miss Patty loves the most and just hold it up here.
Okay.
Sorry, Miss Patty. That was the last one you sent, right, Mike? Yeah.
Yes.
Like it.
This is the site of the revolution. Right now, you can see that building here behind me.
Wow. So it kind of, I don't want to be generic in this statement, but looking behind you right now, it just looks like another day in the neighborhood.
It really is. Of course, the day is punctuated by air raid alarms and other things of that sort, but largely life goes on here. As you can see behind me, there's many people walking around, tourists. It just rained a little bit, so it kind of cleared out the crowds a little. Over here behind me, you can see all those Ukrainian flags there. It's a monument to the ones they've lost so far during this war. Kyiv, largely, though, you do see a lot of Westerners here, particularly a lot of aid workers, folks that are coming to train Ukrainian soldiers in the art of combat medicine, particularly specializing in tension pneumothorax, which is a sucking chest wound, as I'm sure Walter knows.
So what? Well, first of all, I see kind of behind you earlier there was like a little sign with a heart on it. What did that say? I know it's probably not
that is in Ukrainian, and it says "I love Ukraine."
Okay.
Sandra thought that was a a senator for Texas.
Yeah, I was hoping you were supposed to say it says restoring the heart.
That quite hasn't made it over here yet.
Well,
And it's-
next time we'll send you with more propaganda.
I hear I hear she's taller than Zelensky.
She might be. He was out today. I saw his motorcade go by. Him and Blinken have been meeting the past 2 days. And
His motorcade, is that armored Suburbans?
The Mercedes vans.
Oh, okay. At least he kept it European.
Yeah, they all have a liking for those over here, from what I've seen.
That's
Very neat. So what I don't want to say anything that would be in a bad position for you. So we'll kind of allow you to talk and we'll ask questions as we can. But one of the things that you and I did talk about is that yesterday is that I think that the biggest misconception is on both sides, that it's not even close to what people really think is what it's like over there.
Right. I mean, as you know, Sandra, I was in Kharkiv, which is about 16 miles from the Russian border, before I came further into the country, back towards mainland Europe, rather, to Kyiv. Over in Kharkiv, it's again under 20 miles from the Russian border, bombed almost nightly. One of the things that you'll see there is that there's still that civilian resiliency. We have a beautiful mall downtown, the Nikolsky Mall, and they can go in there. You can enjoy a nice meal. They got things like Nike and Crocs stores and everything else there. And it's not what we would think of as a war-torn country, and that's kind of indicative of what we see now in 21st century wars. It's not just the Middle East. And even at that, like, life has to go on. We're in a digital world, we're a world constantly on the move, and you can't expect people to pause their daily lives due to a war. And at that, the war is largely isolated in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which have been the source of contention since 2014, with Russia claiming that these people are ethnic Russians, having a sham election there to vote for secession, and then since occupying those regions as well. One of the things that we have to kind of look at there is like, okay, well, how much of that's actually true? And you can actually hear people speak in either Russian and Ukrainian throughout the country. The farther west you go, the more emphasis there is placed on speaking only Ukrainian. But particularly out towards Russia, there's a lot of Russian going around. One of those things, an easy way to kind of pinpoint this is the words for thank you. In Ukrainian, it's yaku, and then in Russian, it's spasiba. And when you hear those different words, you kind of can know what they're speaking, because largely, it sounds the same to Western ears.
Mm-hmm. So those pictures that you sent me finally came through. So just let me know when you want me to throw them up.
Go for it.
All right. All right. So I don't know if you can see what's on the screen or not. So just let me know if you can.
I can. This is up on near St. Michael's Cathedral in Kyiv. It's just up the hill from where I'm at now. They have about 8 destroyed Russian vehicles and a couple of civilian cars that got absolutely wrecked during the initial invasion during 2022. And they have them all parked out there.
So is this just typical graffiti that's on there, or is there anything of any kind of significance or
So they're commenting on some of their political causes. Right now, we know the Azov battalion, they kind of get a bad rap, the links to Nazism. But they're one of Ukraine's best units. They were some of the first to fight. And they were actually imprisoned right now in Mariupol. And so what Ukrainians are really pushing for is to free them They're very much like ethnic purists for Ukraine, if you will. There's kind of like the Nazi allegations. That's the kind of root of them there. But they're the people love them. They're imprisoned right now. They're petitioning for their release, and so a lot of this graffiti says things like "Free Azov," "Glory to Ukraine," both in English and in Cyrillic, and "Fuck Putin" is floated around a bit. Don't know if we gotta pay a fine for that one, but I'm sorry.
I'll cover it. I'll cover it.
Just direct quoting.
Just direct. I mean that you are a reporter. That is in your description. Now, what exactly is this?
This is a piece of a glide bomb here. They have this displayed here in Kyiv. This is something that they're using pretty regularly. What Russia's doing with them is since Ukrainians have Western air defense systems now, it's incredibly hard for Russia to be able to operate 30 and 40-year-old Gen 3 and 4 aircraft in this airspace. So what they're doing is utilizing this glide bomb. What this glide bomb does is allows them to fly their military jets up to the Russian border, drop the bomb, and then dip out. And then the bomb can glide for something like 100 kilometers before impacting its target, which is more than sufficient to cause serious damage. The other things that we've been seeing a lot here is, again, just drone and missile strikes. Last night, there were a few. Oddly enough, it was kind of coupled with a thunderstorm. So you kind of heard an explosion or two, and then you could hear rolling thunder coming in behind it.
Mm-hmm. Is this another piece of that missile?
Yes, yeah. But that gentleman there, he's part of a charity. They go around with ribbons and bracelets here, trying to sell them. Basically, they're raising money to pay for medical expenses for Ukrainian soldiers. Something that I was pretty surprised to learn is that the Ukrainian military itself doesn't necessarily have the resources to fund the recovery of their wounded. And a lot of times these people do rely on the kindness of other Ukrainians and folks in the West to be able to get their medicine.
Wow.
I know, not to pull an old left hand right hand thing, but I gave about $40 to a guy that needed it because he got exposed to white phosphorus. I don't know if you can hear that behind me, but they're kind of jamming out on the street right now.
No, I was getting ready to say that sounds pretty cool.
Wait, they're still using white phosphorus?
Yes, the Ukrainians and the Russians both.
Wow. Is that our old white phosphorus that the U.S. gave up since it's outlawed?
I imagine so. That's one good thing for us with helping Ukraine is logistically we're actually able to drain a lot of our stockpiles. And Walter, you'll know this. What happens is say you have like an AIM-9 missile. That missile has a shelf life. So that shelf life might be like 10 years. But it also has an operational ride life. And that ride life is much, much lower. So if you say you have an AIM-9 and it's got a 10-year shelf life, well, it might have an operational life of about 300 hours. So that means it's got about 300 hours that it can be strapped to an F-18 and flown around before we can no longer use it and we have to retire it. And that's because, it's withstanding all these shocks and forces on these multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment that are inside these missiles that enable them to do what they do. So one of the good things for us is instead of having this aging arsenal that we don't get to fire that much, because, realistically, we don't really get to shoot down any aircraft. We being the United States military are not able to do that too often. Most of our missiles are sent on Chinese balloons, Iranian drones, those kind of things, where the ROI isn't so great. But here it allows us to actually get rid of our old stuff and create the ability to produce new. And by doing that, it helps us have a better arsenal, a more mission-ready arsenal. The money's already allocated for these things through our defense budgets. So it only just kind of makes sense for us. Then, of course, all this aid to Ukraine is a lend lease or loan to aid, so that too helps.
Sorry, I keep hearing the guy in the background. I keep trying to kind of see if I can pick out what he's saying, but apparently not.
It's Ukrainian. Let me move a little bit here.
Now, I have to ask, because you didn't get a close-up of a picture here, and I am going to demand one now. Does that statue have a ballistic vest on?
Yes, it does.
So
what is it a statue of?
I believe it's like St. Michael.
So essentially what you're saying is the Biden-Harris administration, in conjunction with Republicans like Dan Crenshaw, are basically selling all of our stockpiles so they can refurbish and get prepared for World War III.
That is definitely one way to look at it, for sure. And the same could be said for Russia too. I mean, if you look at some of these pictures, these are old Soviet pieces of machinery. Now, Russia is not the most capable military in the world by any means, nor has the ability to really fund it to the extent that we do ours. But they're operating very much the same way. They're sending in their old stuff first, and kind of holding on to their new.
Certainly, that is something that makes you kind of ponder and scratch your head a little over.
Now this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, now tell us a little bit about this stuff right here.
So that last picture you had up there, that to me, just looking at it, looks like it had an ammunition blowout. All that steel is bent upwards out. So it exploded from the inside out. That or it was a mine. But it's kind of gnarly to see this level of destruction just on display for civilians to go and look at.
Yeah, I think that's pretty amazing that they have that out there like that. Just, I mean, how much of that is?
I'm gonna have to get rolling out of here in a second. It's about to come storming.
Well, we appreciate you being where you're at and bringing this to our Texas Fully Loaded audience and kind of just give a bigger purview of what's really happening there and a different perspective, I think, than most people really have.
Absolutely. We'll definitely go more in depth on this and examine some more controversial pieces and aspects here once I get to Poland.
Sounds good. Well, be safe, and we love you, and we're praying for you.
Love y'all too. Bye.
Bye. Wow.
Well, so I think several of us knew, I'm tracking him right now, and so it's pretty interesting to see his dot moving throughout the country. The question you need to ask is exactly during the debate what was brought up. The Harris administration wants to pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
Trump wants to end the killing. Those were the words that were used. Pick a side in the killing. If you pick a side, you drive the Russians to find other support. If you get together and you end it, now you have a division, and each side gets to rebuild and come back again later, or rebuild and find neutrality and some sort of peace.
Well, and it was interesting, and that Kamala has made it, has said it over and over again, that she was sent to the Ukraine to negotiate, and she was there for 3 days. And Trump asked if she spoke to Russia, and she had not. She had only, and anyway, so 3 days later, after she had been there for several days, is when the war started. And I think that your statement is very valid, Walter, that they were waiting for a conversation from both sides, and there wasn't one. The Biden-Harris administration only went to one source.
Much like Hillary Clinton did whenever she funneled the guns and the Stinger missiles into what we now know as the 9/11 of Benghazi, which ultimately was the result of what Hillary Clinton and the illegal gun running was doing through the ambassador and through the different CIA operatives that were there. Kamala Harris basically was the lead envoy that started a war. So they had a horrific pullout that she wanted to blame on Donald Trump for Afghanistan that not only led to R-13, but we're talking hundreds of thousands of injuries over the course of 20 plus years that is draining the U.S. economy to this day and will, at least for the next half a century, because of some of the ages of those folks. Not to mention, you got the burn pits, you got all that kind of stuff, and that all derived from 9/11. That all derived from 23 years ago. So, and again, the country was together on both of the country was together on both sides when it came to September the 12th. Simon had a great conversation on his Facebook page this morning, which alluded to that fact. And I'm being tailed by an unmarked state trooper that doesn't know that I know he's an unmarked state trooper. So, nope, he turned around. He's watching us. He is watching us. That lets me know exactly who it was. So anyway, now the key, and pardon my bumpiness here. These roads are horrible. Fix that have to get to San Antonio. Have been warmongering. Everything they accused Trump of doing in 2016 to 2017 and 2018 and was moving through, they have dismantled, and now they've turned back around to try and spin a narrative on it. So this doesn't just go to the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration. This is the Democrat strategy as a whole, period. Because I have heard Democrats make the statement. I mean, elected Democrats have made the statement to me, we're at least expending our surplus, so we're getting paid for it instead of having to throw it away. And if you're really about peace, you would have the strength, but you wouldn't start destabilizing areas, because guess what's going to happen in about 15 years? The children that survived are going to be the same as what Iran gave us, is the same as what Hamas has given us, the same as what the Syrians have given us. You meddled in my country, and now we're coming to yours. At the exact time that we're fighting declared invasion in the United States. Keep in mind, the commander-in-chief for the state of Texas, or for that region, is Governor Greg Abbott. And don't care what you think about the guy, but he has superseded presidential orders until Joe Biden decides, I'm going to protect the border. So right now, Greg Abbott has superiority in Texas, at least, over a constitutionally declared invasion.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct. Well, listen, let's take a quick commercial break so I can respond to a text message from something that was supposed to happen, is not. And then we will come back at you guys. So take 2 minutes, reheat your coffee, get your friends on here. Make sure you share this episode, because nowhere else are you seeing exclusive footage from Ukraine. We'll be right back. we are back with a huge thank you to you. But we need your support. Look, we bring you live footage from the Ukraine. And we're going to have more to follow on that too. But we need your support to stay on the air. So go to TexasFullyLoaded.com, click on that hashtag We the People Work. You can do PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. I still have some t-shirts and some koozies and things like that. I even have the coffee mugs are made to order though. So you can have a freshly made coffee cup to come straight to you from Texas Fully Loaded, but you can't get it if you don't contact me and say, hey, we need this. So do it, gosh darn it, because you want one. I know that you do. You can also make sure that you're liking and following every single episode. You're sharing it so that other people can get the TFL goodness. So don't forget, we're also live streaming now on YouTube and Rumble. So we're hitting it all, okay? We haven't been kicked off of the YouTubing yet, so we'll see what happens. We're in a very long desertous pause with them because they weren't letting us stream to them, but now they're letting us again. So let's see how long before we get kicked off again. You know, the thing is they let some of the most random, weirdest, grossest things be on YouTube. Why we're a threat to the YouTube, I'll never know. But right now we're in like Flynn. Now, here was my sad news. So, Simon, you're right. You knew it. You knew what the secret was. Marianne was going to be on our show today, but she just texted us while we were right before we took the break to let us know that something came up with her campaign. So she's got to focus on that a little bit. Don't forget, if you're in Arizona and you can help Marianne, you can block walk, you can do whatever. Maybe you can phone bank for her. You can do that from wherever you are. Contact us or contact Marianne directly and let her know that you want to support her. She definitely needs it. She's the best choice for Arizona. Let me tell you what's happening. The left is attacking her. They've made a fake website, put up a bunch of BS propaganda about her and all that kind of fun jazz. So the haters are going to hate, and she must be a real threat because them haters are hating hard. So Marianne is definitely the right place to be if you're in Arizona, specifically in LD9. So support our girl. Support our girl, honey. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know where Walter went. I went to go and get some water, and I came back, and he was taken by the little people. I don't know what happened to him. But he just disappeared. Simon, I don't know where he went. I don't know where Simon went. But anyway, I had some takeaways. I'm kind of like looking over my notes from the other night. Every time Trump would try and go forward with something, the only thing that Kamala could do is talk about his personality or his legal trials. And specifically about the weaponization of the DOJ, the weaponization of the law process, if you will. And I think it kind of goes to prove what we already knew, is that number one, they just want to try and deflect and confuse, which is what they're really good at. But two, that they really didn't have anything else to go after. If they did, they would have done it, and they haven't been able to. And, here's the problem, is that the people who are not voting for Trump, we're not going to vote for him, period. Even on our side. And the reason to that is, and this is going to be uncomfortable for them because they don't like to be called out like this, but the reason they were never going to vote for Trump is because he wasn't establishment. He wasn't in that good old boy ring of circle. And so they're like, we can't trust him. And that's the toxic part of politics. There's a lot of sounds in that word, but that is the toxic part of politics, because we can't keep doing the same exact thing and wondering why things aren't getting better or why things were only staying the same. I laughed, at least for the last week or so, the gas on my road has been quite inexpensive. It was $2.54 at one of the gas stations here. And I commented that to Walter when we were on the phone this morning, and he started chuckling. He goes, well, don't forget to vote Democrat. And I said, well, naturally. I mean, they're the ones that did this. It's almost $1 cheaper than it was about a month ago. About $1 cheaper, because we're getting closer to election day. And hey, you know what? Kamala told everybody that she wasn't gonna ban fracking. Now, here's where it gets fun. And look, I believe everything that she says. I do. Her values have not changed. She's not going to ban fracking. She's not going to ban fracking. She's going to just make sure they can't get the leases that they need. She's going to make sure that they can't get the permitting that is required. She's not going to ban them. She's just going to make it impossible for them to jump through hoops to be able to get what they need to do, or they're going to fine them to death in order for it to happen. They're not going to get rid of it. They know they can't get rid of it, so they're not going to lie to you about it. They're just not going to be honest about how they're going to ban it. They're not going to ban it. You can still do it. It's just going to cost you through the nose, and you're going to have to jump through 9,000 hoops. See, this is where we get into a problem, right? They're not lying. They're not lying to us. They're just not telling us everything. Just like with the gun grab one. Her values have not changed. Her values have not changed. She's not going to come after your gun. She's a gun owner, allegedly. She's not going to come after your guns. She's going to put a ban on assault rifles. That's not coming after your guns. Coming after your guns is knocking on your door and yanking them out of your hands. But making sure you can't buy one anymore. Buyback is not yanking them out of your hands. It's enticing people. Hey, I know that you paid a few $1,000s for that gun. We'll buy that back from you. Things are really tough right now and you can't even afford groceries or gas. Don't worry. We'll help you out. You got something you can pawn? We've got cash. We've got cash. Again, they're not going to do it directly. There's always an indirect way to still accomplish the same goal. And by golly, you're going to beg for it. You're going to beg for it. Oh, you have to choose between fuel, getting to work, and your gun? Only you sold that gun back to the government. We could give you cash for fuel, or we could give you gas. Oh, your baby needs formula and diapers. It's going to cost you a sleeve of bullets. Because that's how it works in a communist Marxist society. They're not going to take it from you. You're going to give it to them. That's what they're counting on. Her values haven't changed, friends. She's not going to step back off of anything. That is a guarantee you can take to the bank. That is a promise of what is to come. She knows that people don't pay attention. And look, the 40 people that religiously watch this show, they're paying attention, except for the ones that are watching us to see what we're going to do next. They hate us. That's fine. They're reporting back to the others. They're not going to lie to you. And they're going to do it with a smile. I keep seeing these memes. I keep seeing these memes and things that say, I tried to buy groceries with Kamala's joy, and I got turned away. What is going to happen next? How are you going to buy groceries? Especially when they've already taken, I'm sorry, after you've sold them everything that's valuable to you. And I know what you're saying right now. I'll never give up my guns. I'll never turn them in. I know what you're saying. Because I'm with you. I am. I agree. I have no intentions on turning over my guns or my ammunition. But we're a polite society now. We're a polite society now. We're not just going to use any of our actual Second Amendment rights. We're a polite society. This is just because there's some bad guys here. That's why they're doing it. It's not you that they're coming at. They just want to make sure that these bad guys that are breaking into everybody's house and eating their cats can't also break into your safe and steal your gun. So we're just going to hold them for you. Oh, that's very polite. That's very kind of them. Thank you. That's the reality of what we're looking forward into. One of the things that happened in the debate the other night, and I actually clapped and cheered, but Trump said Ashley Babbitt's name. Kamala was trying to play the victim and give some BS propaganda story about January 6th. Trump stood tall. He said, I didn't do anything wrong. And they murdered Ashley Babbitt. Damn right they did, Trump. Thank you for saying Ashley's name. I literally could feel the Jan Sixers that we've had on this show sob uncontrollably when Trump said Ashley's name. I could hear them cheering. Thank you, Trump, for standing up for the Jan Sixers. Thank you for boldly saying something out loud that needed to be said in public from a national stage for the rest of the world to hear. And we have the proof. The proof is there. The videos are there to prove it all. We've aired them on this show. They're accessible on this show. Yet people still don't go out and grab it. They don't reference it. They don't use the resources that have been provided for them for free for hundreds of thousands of man hours. For a love of truth and justice and the reality to be put out. People are not willing to take the extra steps. The Jan Sixers still need us. Just because they're not on the show every Friday doesn't mean they don't still need us. It doesn't mean that those letter groups aren't still there. It doesn't mean that any of those links on our Facebook page have gone away. It means they need you now more than ever. Yesterday on the show, we talked about September 11th, 2020 or 2001. Yesterday, we talked about how there was a different feel in the air after that. We talked about the unity of September 12th. Yesterday, all three of my children who are in public schools came home and said, "Bah, they didn't talk about anything." For Austin, they said, "Well, we kind of did in one of my classes." We had to watch a video, and that we really didn't discuss it though. Now on the calendar, they put that it was Patriots Day, but then they also made sure to do a week of other things for childhood cancer, which there's nothing wrong with that. Well, originally on the printed calendar, it said to wear your Patriot gear. But then they put a whole week of fun stuff to wear. Could have been pushed back a week, pushed up a week. The term patriot implies it's somebody who loves their country. Show that spirit, that 1776 feel, if you will. It's not a political notion. You can love your country and not utter the words politics or government. Kids these days will not know what a patriot is if we don't teach them at home. As you can see, I have the stars and stripes up there. Got it on my desk. Got it up here on this wall. got it throughout our children's lives, their home. Because there is a sense of pride to be instilled in our country and in our state. A sense of pride that they can't get from school or out in the public. It's got to start at home. It's part of that duty that we as parents have got to instill in our children. We can blame a broken system until we're blue in the face. But if we're not parents at home, if we're not teaching our kids the importance of loving their country and loving their state, of loving something outside of themselves, we can't send them off to another place and expect them to learn it there. It's not something that can be taught by a third party, something that has to be shown through our actions and our responses for our love of the red, white, and blue. How are we preparing our children to go into this next decade, into this next election? How are we teaching them about the decisions that we are making on November 5th? I was shocked, but not surprised. After the debate, they were talking about how, the next 6 weeks, people are going to have decisions to make. And I think it was Savannah Guthrie made the statement, well, I would typically say that, but some states are starting early voting this month. September. We don't need an October surprise anymore if we're going to start voting in September. What is the purpose? I get it. Oh, that way people have plenty of time. There's no excuse if you can start now. What if they get in a car accident and they're unconscious during early voting for 2 weeks? They should vote now. Well, you know what? Then we should just be voting every single day if this is the case. Don't wait, start right now. It's so easy to make it sound so good, doesn't it? But if you make this a decision, instead of something that you can callously do like you do on American Idol, if you make this important, that's fair, Sam. And what if they die? Then they won't get to vote if they vote red. Yeah. What if they die? Seems fair that they should be able to vote now. Maybe they can just put it in their will. Make sure I'm voting Republican for the rest of my whatever. These are the conversations that we don't want to have because it's uncomfortable. These are the conversations that we don't want to think about because it seems ridiculous. But these are the conversations. This is the real talk. Well, kitties, I think we're starting out. Kitties, get it? Kitties. Kitties. I think we are going to wrap it on up. I don't know what happened with Mr. West. I'm going to assume he got a phone call because he just disappeared and he never came back, which is fine. He's working. It's important. He's doing not just his paycheck job, but he's doing important work for our country, for our state. A lot that's happening. There's events that are happening the closer we get to election day. Don't just go to an event just to solidify the fact that you already know that you're a Republican and you're voting red. Go to these events and bring somebody with you who is not solidified in their voting. You know somebody who's a swing voter, find them. Find them and bring them to an event. Find them and bring them to a GOA event or to a training event or fill in the blank. to a rally. It doesn't just have to be a Trump rally. There's other people having rallies and meetings and having candidates so that people can meet them. Go to the Secretary of State's website. Find your county and look at who the people are and start your research. Research all of the candidates. Don't just look at just the Republicans. Look and see if there might be an independent. Look and see if there might be a Democrat and see what they stand for and who they are. Don't blindly vote. Make decisions on your ballot. Be intentional with the choices that you're making for your future. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day, y'all.